So then we are back with the more understandings from the time of the second tabernacle services, very fine Aramaic English translation of the word. And this translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Tzayeliki lineage. So then we can understand the time of the end. As per Yeshayahu the prophet, we find layers of understanding of the spring feast, the autumn feast, and also the returning of the cities of the Mashiach laid waste for many centuries. As we read it in Yeshayahu the prophet, it's always important layering the specific portion of Yeshayahu the prophet, mostly related with 23rd chapter, and then the trade layer related with Daniel and Revelation as a line through the centuries, so we understand then the times and the seasons when during this time of the restoration period we find then the reorganization of the trade as it was during the time of Daniel. So then obviously China and South Africa are making great deals, great partnerships, and then there is a great interest in China of developing the South African country, and it's kind of interesting the way they had published this article. In early this year, China had set aside more than 6 times 12 digits toward South African projects. So, though the situation in the Congo is very delicate, we can understand that the Soviet Union and the Chinese government, they are truly working hard of starting the organization of the African continent. Now, this information, very importantly, was then recorded in the newspaper from Great Britain by the name The BRICS Post. And the BRICS obviously is the new system, or then the time of the restoration period, trade, worldwide trade. But not only this, regarding then the relationship of China and Africa, obviously they have taken at first glance, the most structurized country in the African continent, South Africa, but truly not the richest. The richest country in Africa is Congo. Vast number of minerals, many mines, and because of the importance of the space industry, computer industry, even sometimes diamonds is not as important comparing with the number of importances of this particular mineral, such as coltan. As the world is going through a hard time, not very many people can go around buying diamonds anymore. So we are during the time of a transition from an era that ended in 2008, 2009, and then with the advent of the virtual monetary systems, then we find ourselves dealing with infrastructure construction. You find in the organizations of these particular places. Now there is a portion of the article. To this point, President Xi said the two countries have a chance to push for substantial forward motion on the existing partnership projects including a railway line, a science and technology park, vocational training, and local partnership, Chinese media said. So then, China also wants more exports, and the investment is simply nearly interminable. So it was then said before many times, the continent of Africa must be organized. There is no other way around. Came out more information related with the BRICS, and then Beijing launches spacecraft. Shenzhou 11 went up in space. Now, when Mr. Xi goes around the world speaking of infrastructuring, obviously he has the best intentions, explaining to these countries the importance of organizing their railroads, ship lanes, transports, and then roadways. And it is quite amazing the number of spacecraft China has launched in the space. Now, this has to do, there's a couple of military persons in this spacecraft, obviously, and it states very precisely, while China to date has focused on near-Earth space exploration, future objectives will to be larger and go further than 400 kilometers or 249 miles, said Zheng Yulin. Then he is obviously with the space program and the Central Military Group. So then, let's pause for a moment and evaluate our cards. Every time there is a big deal showing up, there is always a preparation. When the United States was building then the atomic bomb, it was in the utmost secrecy. And then because of the intricacies of the outcome of the project, you had to have steps of formation until you reach a certain level of expertise. So then, China is preparing itself for the final launching of their system. And there is another situation related with this, also very important and absolute, lines up with the instructions, is a fact that wasn't truly a surprise. But the first regional headquarters of the BRICS then shall to be set up in South Africa. So as you can understand, the trade is being spoken of from the east, it's coming from the south, it's coming from the north. Then you find the military involvement in the space program. You find then a special internet signal used, and obviously you have to have monitoring of these systems. Then you find that the BRICS members, China, India, and the Soviet Union, are also these largest shareholders in the China-led Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. So then, related with the Pacific and Asia, the situation is taking place by leaps and bounds. Quite amazing. And so many decades ago, they were not very important whatsoever. But after a while, they became very intently concerned with their own capabilities, and in fact today they are joining up so hardly that the only last frontier of space industry, electronics, is related with the country of the Congo. Organizing the Congo, organizing the government, and making it an example for the other nations. Now, quite honestly, Yeshayahu, the prophet, does not say organizing the nation of Africa. What does say is then the relation with the violent ones beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. Now in economics, when you have the violent ones, it's because they are protecting something of their own. And these something of their own obviously are related with the mines, because that's how they do their trade. Yet, as disorganized as it may be, it's becoming a very powerful, influential country in the entire African continent. So there are signs that Africa is being organized. There are signs of South Africa being organized, and there are signs of other countries in the African continent becoming more aware of the importance of organization. So Daniel 11 gives us a few clues, and then the section related with Egypt, also very important, because then the sons of Ishmael, they are no longer being thrown around, but then they become aware of a sense of purpose for their cause taught by Abraham. And this truly is the gathering in Egypt. So if we want the market from the point of view of China, working hard every time to establish trade with these countries, northern countries of the African continent, and a lot of them are at war. But then the point is organizing for the purposes of infrastructuring of a new system. They already know what kind of material it takes to build a computer that's going to be used for this new Chinese system. What does it take to have a banking in China, and then doing this via computer? If you had an idea of the so many options a person have in the computer when these servers are linked directly with other countries, it's truly an amazing situation. So then, Related with the time of the autumn, you find then Shaliach Shaul explaining a portion. You find then the Hamashiach ben Yosef explaining another portion. But from these, the most important is then the Mashiach obviously showing himself as then a humble teacher. Next time they're going to evaluate more of this trade in organization from the time of Daniel and also from the time of Ezekiel. So please stay tuned. Much more coming up.